The first of our revision videos on Alexander the Great, and we're going to look at some 4 mind map videos here. First off, Alexander. Upbringing, character, beliefs and relationships is the topic in the exam book. So first off, Macedonia. Alexander is from Macedonia, a small country to the north of Greece, not strictly speaking Greece. The people there speak Greek, a type of Greek at least. Macedonian royal family is thought of as Greek, as Macedonians are not. Sort of hillbillies, backwoods, barbarians, sort of semi-Greeks. Nowheresville before his father made it into a great power. Secondly, what do you know about his youth as a child? Well, all of our stories come from Plutarch, who wrote a biography of Alexander. The other historians don't really mention it so much. So, we've got the Bucephalus story. Alexander tames the wild horse Bucephalus. He's the only one who can see. He's afraid of his shadow, so he maneuvers him so he can't see his shadow, and he's able to tame him. It's a sign, early sign of his greatness, that he can tame this wild horse. His tutor has a number of tutors. His most famous one is Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, the Greek genius. It's like having the world's biggest genius as your personal tutor. It's from Aristotle that he learns his great love of Greek culture, and is introduced to the Iliad, the epic poem by Homer. And it's here that he develops his obsession with bettering Achilles, the main character in the Iliad. Olympias, his mother, not a Macedonian, not a Greek, from another sort of semi-barbarian Greek kingdom called Epirus. The sources tell us a number of things about her, none of them good. They say she's a member of a snake cult, seen as quite sinister. She's meant to be the source of the story Alexander has, that he's the son of Zeus, not Philip. But all this really could be ancient misogyny. Everything that's bad about Alexander is blamed on a woman, his mother, rather than him wanting to own it himself. His father, Philip II, the man who had made Macedonia into the great power it was when Alexander became king. It was Nowheresville when he first became king. And Philip is the one who reformed the army, brought in the phalanxes, companion cavalry, the sarissa, blah, 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 and transformed Macedonia from nothing into the dominant power in Greece. He conquered the other Greek polises, Athens, Thebes, places like that. He had 7 wives. Olympias is his first wife, Cleopatra Eurydice, the daughter of one of his generals, Attalus, as his last. Right, let's have a little note here about his character, what sort of person he was, what can we tell from the sources? Well, our main source, Alexander, is Arrian, who is a fan, an open admirer of Alexander. And his sources, because he's writing a couple hundred years later, are Ptolemy and Aristobulus, who were there. So from them we get stories like the Gordian knot. Alexander visited the city of Gordium, where there was this famous knot holding together a chariot yoke. And the story is, whoever can untie the knot will rule Asia. Alexander couldn't untie the knot. So he took out his sword and sliced it in half. Again, lateral thinking, not taking no for an answer, a sign of his greatness. Arrian's list. Arrian, at the end of his book, writes a big long list of all the ways in which Alexander is great. Great general, great leader, very religious, but also can be quite mercurial. And that's the word we're going to hear. He's very changeable. His opinions on you can change. He changes during his life, from a Greek to a Persian. He can like you one minute and murder you the next. And the word I want to use is mercurial. Somebody who changes very quickly can be called mercurial. Beliefs. Let's talk about religion here. Alexander, like all the Greeks of his period, was polytheistic, many gods, Zeus, Apollo, etc., etc. So Alexander was always very concerned with his religious duties. He was always making sacrifices, building altars, making sure the gods were happy, because that's the way you had to do it. You had to keep them happy, because if they weren't happy, they could destroy you. He employed oracles and seers to help him tell the future. Or to be more precise, with oracles and seers, it's not so much telling the future, it's working out what the gods want, what the gods want you to do. So he uses those a lot. Big thing about his religious views, he appears to have been in fairly open competition with gods. He wants to beat Achilles. He wants to beat Heracles. He wants to beat Dionysius by going to India. He's always wanted to beat the gods. And that's perhaps because of this thing where he thinks he is the son of Zeus, or towards the end of his life, Zeus Ammon, this portmanteau god, half Greek, half Egyptian. Right. Companions, people he knew, or some at least. So you got Hephaestion, his oldest and closest friend, possibly a lover, but definitely his oldest friend, very loyal to each other, very close. Hephaestion was no great military success, but they were very close and he was very loyal. Alexander, when he married two of Darius's daughters, two princesses, the third princess, the third daughter, was married to Hephaestion, so he wanted them to be relatives by marriage. So very close. And he was absolutely devastated, beside himself with grief, when Hephaestion died a few months before he did. So very close. Parmenio, or Parmenion, the general. He'd been a general working for his father, Philip, a very trusted commander. Was given the crucial job in the main battles of holding the left, of holding on the far left flank, to give Alexander the chance to work his magic with the companions on the right. But finally, when his son Philotas was accused of treason and executed, Alexander has him murdered, straight up murdered. Clytus the Black. Clytus the Black, another one of his companions, a commander in the companion cavalry. At the Battle of Granicus, the first battle, Clytus had very dramatically saved Alexander's life, cutting off the arm of a Persian satrap in mid-kill stroke. So Alexander owed him big. But that didn't stop him a few years later, while having a drunken party in Samarkand, when Clytus started arguing that Alexander owed everything to his father, that it was a disgrace that he was comparing himself to a god. In a drunken rage, Alexander murdered Clytus. Callisthenes, he's the writer, the court historian, the nephew of Aristotle. Very loyal Alexander for many years. Yeah, loyally slagged off Parmenion for him, no problem. Yeah, but then, when Alexander starts to demand of the Greeks proskinesis, burying and covering your mouth when you speak to him, it is Callisthenes who leads the charge against that, publicly saying, no, we don't do that, no, we won't do that, no, we shouldn't do that, that's wrong, we're Greeks, not barbarians. And for that, Callisthenes was imprisoned and later died in prison.